Just don't even look at it. God, don't even.
Okay guys, so remember we've now got the Spark Fishing where you can join as an affiliate program. You don't have to be a customer. For all you guys that are in co-ops or hung up in the middle of the contract, or even you guys who live out of state, you can go to Spark Fishing and sign up, and you're eligible to win money this weekend coming up at Ray Roberts, the North Division. $2,000 up for grabs there. The following weekend, the Amstead South region, there'll be $4,000 up for grabs there. And then the following weekend, the Central region, holy cow, on April 24th, that tournament will be on LBJ. The highest finishing Spark customer or Spark Fishing member in the top 10 wins $6,000. So it's really simple to sign up. Only one of you has to sign up between you and your team partner. So check that out. We'll be back right at the end of this video to do this week's Spark drawing. So let's get right to it. Here we go.
So I think it should be good.
All right, boys, welcome to the brand new 5-month-old, 6-month-old, the station.
Probably a year and a half. Probably 18.
Year and a half old, Richardson Fire Department Station #1, Central Station, is that what y'all call it? Mm-hmm. We're here with a guy who caught a fish. So I'm here with Tanner Spurgin.
Yes, sir.
So if I'd ask you a week ago today, what's the biggest fish you've ever caught, what would you tell me?
10 and a half.
10 and a half.
Yes,
Where
sir.
was that from?
Lake Lavon.
Like what? So this, what?
Lake Lavon.
Lake Lavon.
Yeah, sorry, I muttered.
No, I just can't believe you said Lake Lavon's where your biggest fish had come from.
Oh yeah, it is true. Yep.
All right, so what did you do last Friday?
Went to Lake Fork with a buddy to try to put on some bed fish, and we fished around up north, came back down south, fished around, and he had to leave about 4 o'clock. And that's why we took separate vehicles, because he lives in Farmsville, I live in McKinney. We were planning on riding together. He's like, hey, I gotta be back. And I'm like, man, it's the time of year that you need to stay a little bit longer, and I'm probably not gonna be ready to come back. So went and dropped him off at the boat ramp, and I went back out and called him back in about 30 minutes. I'm like, dude, there's fish on beds everywhere.
So,
like,
and
they
you
pulled up like that.
And you told him that. You said you're going to leave and it's going to be a
because
ride.
it happened to another. I mean, he's a fireman in DeSoto. Another good buddy works here on B shift. Did the same thing last year. It's like, he lives in like Waxahachie, and like he let beat traffic, and it was like, we caught fish all day. It was good, but it was not the same. Those last 3.5 hours. Just it's just like that. It pulled up, locked on.
Yeah,
it was good.
A buddy of mine and I won a tournament on Tyler Clay, several years ago. We didn't fish at one, and we had 2781. And same thing, we were in the same area and we watched them come into us. Mm-hmm. It was just crazy. So.
It is crazy how like even fishing around that afternoon, like I went in a couple cuts and came back through, and when where I started, you could just see fish like 6-pounders just swimming on, rubbing on little sticks and stuff, and I was like, that's when I'd call my wife and I was like, I told her I'd probably be home by 6:30 or 7. I was like, hey, I'm sorry, like, I'm not going to make it.
I got a flat tire.
Yeah, I was like, it's going to be after dark tonight. And, she's real supportive of stuff too. So, she understands. It is frustrating having a kid at home. It's hard. She's been working all day and I've been at the lake, but obviously it paid off, I think.
But it earned that. So, if y'all haven't figured this out yet, he was actually there practicing a little bit for a tournament too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just looking around. Like I said, I hadn't been there since Bass Champs in, I think, February.
And that was a fun day, right? Yeah.
Not very.
Yeah.
Not very good day.
But did y'all have a bite in the tournament?
Y'all
got a check, didn't you?
No, we didn't get a check. We had 6 bites, had a couple come off, and we had 2 fish for like 2 something, I think. And like, it's very sad. I think we were like not very far. Like if we'd have caught a 1-pounder, I'm pretty sure we would have got a check.
Yeah. So, all right. So you practiced Friday, looked around, started seeing these fish. What was the water temperature Friday afternoon?
Surprisingly, where I was up north, it was like 58. My transducer was reading 66 in the late afternoon, about 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So I'm guessing just the sun hitting it, water clarity, which I actually talked to another buddy. It's like, muddy water warms up quicker, but it seems like this, in some of the areas I fished, weirdly, some areas that have been not as stained have been warmer. And I don't know, maybe that's not true, but that's just what I've found this year. But I'm not really a scientist or anything.
Right. Yeah. Typically, you'll see the little dirtier water warm up 1st, but a lot of it's got to do with sun angle, what the wind can get to.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. I mean, the codes run east and west,
right.
as opposed to north and south.
So, and were there 2 or 3 of you in the boat Saturday?
Well, there's supposed to be, or it was Sunday, yes.
I mean Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. That's right. So that was Friday. You didn't fish Saturday.
Did not fish. No.
Okay.
Take care of the kid.
Family duty.
Yep.
Got a
Cleaned the
15
boat up a little bit.
Right.
It was funny because the guy I was going with, like, he keeps his boat meticulous. Like, I fish, it had a nasty scum line on it. You know, the spring, like, I go up in creeks. And I was like, dude, I'll clean it up for you before Sunday. We're fishing out of my boat. So I, gave it a little spit shine. And I talked to Tyler. He fished TTO on Saturday. And he had no plans on going. But I talked to him that afternoon when he was driving back from Cedar Creek. And it's like, man, you might want to come out tomorrow. I mean, like, we're catching fish. I mean, I think we'll be able to catch some good unders, maybe catch some shags. And so he ended up, texting me the other night. It's like, all right, I'll go. I'm like, all right, we're meeting at Berkshire in Farmersville at 3:30. And he's like, all right, I'll see you there. So he ended up hopping in the boat. And, yeah, and then.
So there were 3 of you in the boat?
3 of us, yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right. Who was the other guy?
Weston White.
Okay.
Yeah, he fishes tournaments too, but like I said, he's a fireman. Kind of met him through some of the weekly tournaments we do at Louisville.
So you put in, what time did y'all put in?
We got registered pretty early, so I
Oh, so you still had to register, okay.
Yeah, well, Tyler did. We had pre-registered. Probably got to the boat ramp. We put in a little Mustang, like 5:15.
All right, so y'all were there about the same time we were.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, don't want to give away all my tricks, but going to a public ramp on a tournament like that compared to paying $5, big difference.
Yeah.
Like going to put the truck on the trailer and I had to wait 30 minutes.
We put in at the $10 ramp back there, and there were only about 20 of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it some days to pay for
no
it.
doubt. All right, so put in, ran across. How early were you in this area?
I mean, probably 5:45.
Okay, so way early, because you couldn't start fishing
Yeah,
at 6:30.
6:30. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But luckily, by the way, so full moon, I believe the full moon was Saturday night. It was a full moon for sure. It was either Saturday night or Sunday night. So it was really, really bright that morning.
It was.
Ran over there, and the story you told me before, you wanted to go into an area, but you kind of got blocked, right?
Yeah, there was a boat already. I mean, there was already a boat in it, and I'm not going to pull in on somebody like that. So this went to the next one, and basically spot locked right there, waiting for first cast.
And so what started happening about first cast? Was this the first and only fish of the morning for you?
No. Actually, it was not. So, of course, like these tournaments, people, it always seems like, I'm like, man, I cannot believe no one's back in here. And, of course, right before first cast, like a boat pulls in and goes to the other side of the cut that we're in. So I'm like, okay, it's fine, but I mean, it's MegaBass. They're going to be around boats. So I just want like an hour or two.
A skier, yeah, right.
Yeah, like an hour or two to have clean, like fresh water, but whatever. So we fished back. I probably fished back a little bit quicker than I should have. Do you want me to pause?
No.
Okay. And I think Tyler. I mean, it's still dark. Tyler probably caught like a 5-pounder, and then we kind of moved back, and I was trying to beat him back to where it kind of branches off, and. Actually had thrown a frog and had one kind of just barely roll on it, and couldn't catch her. Missed a couple bites, and yeah, I think Tyler ended up catching he caught 2 more fish before we even caught one.
What was he doing?
I think he caught 2 on a spinning reel and 1 on a bait caster. Like he was flipping up around bushes and basically throwing a Cinco just kind of on the outside edge. I will say because on Friday I had noticed there was beds up shallow with bucks on them, but they were real shallow. Where I could see beds a little bit deeper. That figured. I even called my dad on the way home Friday afternoon, and it was like, telling me, he's like, yeah, like those big ones aren't going to be up with their backs out of the water. Like they're going to be a little bit deeper. I mean, you might be able to see them, but it's harder. And I never thought I'd be looking for big fish anyways. I wouldn't plan on really big
You're trying to catch 2.5 pounders.
Yeah, we're just trying to catch 2.5 pounders with a spinning reel. Right. So. Anyway, so we kind of went back there and fished around and kind of came back down the bank we had already fished. And I caught it under, like 15-inch under, but it weighed like a little over 2 pounds on my scale. So, put that in the live well. And, kept on going down the bank, just letting the wind kind of blow us. And I kind of noticed, like, probably 20 yards, I saw like a fish just real high in the water kind of pull up, and it's, I don't know, definitely a slot fish. But so me and Tyler both took, because Tyler's in the middle of the boat, West in the back, and we started flipping at this fish, trying to catch it, and for like 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure Tyler got tired of it.
Was it cruising or was it set up?
It looked like it just, I'm pretty sure it just cruised up and went back on its bed, probably coming by, kind of spooked it, and kind of just see it pull up. And, I messed with it for a while, and finally could see where it's, which way it was facing and stuff. And the first flip, when I flipped it in where I saw which way it was facing, I saw gills flash, set the hook, and it came up to the top of water, came off. Like, didn't get a good hook set on it. And so I reeled in and immediately flipped right back.
Wait, so how big do you think that fish was?
Probably 6 or 7 pounds. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it was still pretty early. I couldn't see that well, but I mean, it was a good fish. I mean,
what a slot fish.
Yeah, slot fish, but I mean, I'm not too good to not try to catch fish.
Sure,
like
absolutely. Fish is a fish.
But,
so what were you flipping on?
Rod.
What bait?
V&MJ boat in white.
Which is a pretty small little bait.
Yeah, it's about that big. I mean, that's pretty much my go-to for bed fishing.
Like a white one or a yellow one?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just so you can see it. But like I said, it's also, I mean, I'd use that same bait on Friday to catch multiple fish, and just, I mean, I'd re-tide Saturday night, but I mean, the bait, it still had all the appendages and stuff, so just let it roll. But
right. And 3/8 probably sinker size?
I think a 1/4 ounce tungsten. Yeah, just my light flipping, rod and reel that I usually use.
So talk about that. I mean, you're not thinking you're about to catch the
no.
biggest fish that anybody's caught in Texas this year.
No.
So what's your rig?
It's a Dobbins 735 Champion, and a loose reel, and then just 20-pound Seagull Red Label.
At least you had 20 pound.
Yes, sir. Yeah, at least I had 20-pound on that one.
And a big, heavy flipping hook?
It's a 4-aught, nothing super heavy. Like I said, look, I mean, it held up. It held up. I hadn't looked at the hook. I took it out of the fish's mouth. I need to go cut it off and put it on that trophy or something. But I haven't seen if it's been out or not. But man, yeah.
You don't know if you sprung the hook or
I
not?
don't know. It's out of commission now. I'll definitely keep it. But yeah, after once I flip back in there, my line just shot out immediately. And,
so you've already pulled that fish off the nest.
Yeah, I mean, but I was thinking, honestly, right when it first happened, it's like, that fish just shot back that quick. Like, oh, cool. But then right whenever it come up and did a little head shake, and my buddy in the back's like, dude, that's an over. And I'm like, oh my god. And that's whenever basically just got chaos. I'm reeling it in.
But wait, so just to clarify, you just pulled a 6 or 7 pounder off the nest, and the next flip on a fish you can't see,
cannot see,
nails it.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, set the hook, and I'm sure she didn't even know she was hooked, because I'm reeling like it's coming to the boat, and then like that's probably done on my part too, because of course she ain't tired.
Well, I mean, truthfully, you're hoping it's a 2.5 pounder.
Yeah.
Right, because you're hoping you just hooked the male that you pulled the female.
Yeah, my buddy
off
had already said, he's like, that's an over.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Once you see it, right?
Like,
yeah.
oh god, and it was like, yep. So I'm fighting it. Gets close to the boat and then goes directly under the boat. So I'm like, have my foot on the side rail with my rod, like my knee supporting it, and like my rod is just wrapping under the boat, and there's literally nothing I can do. And
drag tighten down all the way.
Oh yeah, I was trying to thumb it. I mean, trying to get it open, but I don't even think I could do it. And Tyler's like, I heard splashes. He's like, it's jumping on the other side of the boat. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I can't do anything, man. And about that time when I was like, it's about to break, like in my head, I was like, it's gonna break off, and it just kind of turned, and then my line's kind of under the trolling motor, and I guess from it pulling my rod down so much, that angle, it just kind of started swimming outside. Went outside, and that's when you can kind of really see how big it is, and then like maybe a couple jumps, and then he netted it. And
Tyler netted it?
Yeah, and Weston's in the back, and I was like, dude, start recording. And I'm just like stone cold, like no reaction. I pick it up out of the net, just go back to the live one, just put it in, and they were like, oh my god, like freaking out, and like, I'm about to throw up. Like, I'm completely nauseous. I mean, not only to catch that, but like right in the door, dude, you might just want to blow. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't even know. It's like just freaking out. And then I'm like, what? Tyler was like, that's probably a 13
Did you measure it?
No.
So it's just so
I mean,
long.
it was so...
How long was it, do you know?
27 inches.
Okay.
It was so obvious that it was the biggest bass I've ever seen. Like, you know, I've caught it over, and before at Fort, you know, I didn't have a scale on it the day I was by myself, and I caught a 26-inch bass during the summer. And I called a buddy, and he's like, bro, that's 26 inches. That's like a 10-pounder bigger. And at the time, that would have been, it was my biggest at the time. You know, I took it to Lake Fort Marina, and they weighed it, and it was like 960. I'm like, ah, man.
But skinny, yeah.
Yeah, but skinny. It was summertime.
Skinny, yeah.
So I'm like, you know, I had seen fish, a bass that long at least. And I'm sure the one I caught at Tawakoni was probably 26 inches. That the one when we won Tawakoni last year, you know, I caught that one first thing in the morning on a frog.
What tournament was that?
Bass Champs.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so I put her in a live well, and then it's like, all right, get the scale out. So I get the scale out, you know.
I may have footage of that.
Yeah.
Measure it too. I mean, surely she's not right. Come on here. Middle of the. Oh. Stop. Just don't even look at it. God.
The screen's on their side, and you know, Wes and the man's like, oh my God, and still pretty stone cold. Like, Tyler's like, yeah, don't even look at it. That's enough. Put it up. I was like, what is it? And you know, put it back in the live well. And I can hear them like snickering. I'm like, dude, that might be like top 50 in Texas. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I can kind of hear it, but I don't even want to hear it. It's my boat. I still got to drive. It's like, it's funny. Like, you know, like I think I even put my life jacket on, like zipped it up. And Tyler's like, you need to buckle it. Like,
somebody lay on the line a little bit, right?
Yeah. You know, so I said, it's like, somebody be, like, you're in charge of this fish. I can't even control myself right now. Like, is the live well on? Like, can someone make sure this is all good? And I call my wife. I'm like, hey, I just got a big one. She's like, oh, that's good. I'm like, yeah, that's good. And then, like, I call my dad, and, you know, my dad said I over-exaggerate sometimes. So he, at my first call, I was like, hey, I caught a freaking giant. And he's like, how big? I'm like, I have no idea, but it's big. And he's like, all right, well, you know, just be safe, take your time, let me know when you get to weigh, and then call me back. And that's when, you know, we pull up in Lake Fort Marina, the scales weren't open. But this fish is so big, I didn't want to leave it in my live well. Right. So, you know, put it in the bag, go straight up there. Thankfully, you know, Chad and Bass Champs and Jeff too, like, they're good about fish care. Like, hey, yeah, you can put this fish in the tank. Obviously, not for everyone, but this time, I mean, it's a big fish. Want to keep it healthy. Obviously, I want to weigh it too. Yeah. So put it in the tank. And
what tank?
Just one of the weigh tanks.
Okay,
just one of the ones up there. So like, I already crossed under the tent, like the fish was being weighed and stuff. But just looking at it in the tank too, like where you can see it, I was just like, oh my God. Like, I'm still completely nauseous. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know.
I'll tell you a funny story. There was many, many years ago, and I want to say it was at Hoyt's, but I'm not sure. There was a 15 or 16 pound fish in an aquarium there. And this would be back in the 90s when we fished down there a lot. And I remember we went in there for lunch one day, and I remember being shook up because I remember looking at that fish's top of her mouth and realizing I maybe didn't have a hook that would go all the way through, and thinking, I'm fishing for a different animal than what that is. It shook me up to see how big that fish was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, I think if I had actually seen that fish, I probably would have never landed it. Because, you know, I would have lost it somehow. It's like, not knowing how big it was at the time. Like, what if I'd been throwing this freaking wacky rig all morning too on like a spinning rod? I don't think, unless you're in 40 foot of water, I don't think I would have ever landed that fish.
You never know. I mean,
never know.
It's your day.
But, man.
So you got it in the tank.
Got it in the tank, and, you know, probably there for like 15, 20 minutes, and then that's when they go to weigh it, and it's like, you know, they pull it out, and that's like when I really looked at it. You know, they put it on the board.
Is there anybody there?
Not many people, but the few people that are there, little small crowd had formed. I'm pretty sure the fish's tail like flopped off the end of their measuring stick, and it's like, don't need to measure that one. And I walk up, and even like I think my buddy has a video of that. You can just see it on my face. Like, I'm just like, I don't know what's about to happen, but, you know, people are like, oh my God. And, you know, Chad put it on the scales, and 1547, I was just like, what
By the way,
just happened?
I think 49th biggest fish is what it looks like it is.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure on that, just because I think Bass Champs give me the .20 for the bag, So ShareLunker, you know, they confirmed I think at 15.27. So I don't think I made the top 50. Still doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it is.
You've
what it
made
is.
more money than anybody above you for a fish.
Yes, sir.
Nobody on that list won what you won. So
I like I said, I get lucky every once in a while. Like that was definitely my day.
I don't know that if you won a bass champs last summer and you win a big bass this spring, that you can lay all that at luck. I think there might be a little hard practice fishing and a little skill mixed in there too.
A little bit. Like I said, we had gotten a third and fifth the year before prior too, so they definitely put our time in. But like I said, it definitely. I think there's some luck. I don't think I could have landed that fish if I did it 10 times over.
Yeah.
Just everything could have gone wrong. It should have gone wrong, and it didn't. And I really think if I knew what I had on the line, I would have jacked it up.
Yeah. Yeah. You always catch a 27-pound op, right? It's a catfish, and you can't lose them. But
man, yeah, it was just insane. You know, and then everything's going on, and you know, Tyler and Wilson, they both have boats, know how to run one. Depending on who I was fishing with, I probably wouldn't let them take my boat back out. But with them, I'm like, hey, y'all go on. You know, I got a bunch of stuff to do. You know, when did the polygraph, ShareLunker's coming. So by the time that all gets done, that's probably 11:30 or so. And I called Tyler, and he's like, dude, we can't even fish. Like, what are we even doing out here? He's like, we can't even control ourselves either. We're coming back up there. And I was like, all right, man, you know, because by the time we get back anyways, we're not going to have time to go out. And, like, I hate being like that. Like, I didn't want to be up there by myself all day.
right, yeah.
And, like, you know, my buddies are out there. And, I mean, you have a good chance of winning, but I don't want to leave it up to just that. Like, I would still want to go try. You know, like, want to finish all 4 quarters. But, it was, you know, by then it got so rough and stuff. And it's like, man, it's gonna be so hard. You know, by the time we go back out, maybe have an hour to fish, and I'm probably gonna need to be back, maybe. And I'd already called my dad. You know, my wife and mom and kid were coming up, and I told them, you know, maybe bring your truck. You don't have to. I'm not trying to jinx nothing, but maybe just bring your truck in case. And so they, you know, when they came back, the scales were closed, but they're like, hey, dude, you still got that other fish in the live well? Like, oh yeah. So right at 1, walk up there, weigh it in, ended up getting like 12th place with like the T-shirt on us for like $200, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, let's just.
Did they either one of them weigh a fish?
No, they
Yeah,
didn't.
really?
No. So we went to Tiffany's and I bought their lunch, and I was like, that's when like you sit down, like, dude, man, this is wild. And yeah, but right at, you know, we ate Tiffany's about that's when my family so came up, and then, you know, that's when it kind of got real.
So what did you win?
Won 15,000. I won the 9 o'clock hour, 2021 Skeeter ZX200. $200 for the T-shirt bonus, and actually won one of the early entry drawings too for a pair of sunglasses.
Dude, that ain't right.
Oh, no. I know, man. Because you know we won the power pole too for the Red River, the championship.
No.
I mean, we didn't win nothing but the power pole, but it still made it worthwhile.
Don't start rubbing your head before every tournament.
Man. It was crazy. And like that's a chat. Like, man, you already won enough. I'm like, yeah, just give it to somebody in the crowd, man. I don't need that today. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, it was definitely my day, man. It was surreal, and it really didn't set in. You know, probably till, like I said, I've been at work since yesterday. Like, come to work, you know, back to reality,
Right.
and
But a little wealthier.
yeah, wealthier. You know,
So did you get a certificate or did you get a boat?
got the boat. Like, it is in my
You
possession.
gonna fish out of it or you gonna sell it?
I think we'll sell it, and was looking probably to upgrade mine too at the end of this year.
So what do we got for sale? Tell everybody what you got for sale.
2021 Skeeter ZX200 in a very good looking color. The blue, I do really like that color. And
I think there's a picture of it on the Bass Champs website.
yes, sir. And then yeah, I got a 2017 ZX250, which I think is a good color too.
Can't get one of those no more. No more ZX250s.
Yep. Like I said, it's it's just everything's so expensive nowadays. You know, I like to stay in that warranty.
Yeah.
I already learned.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of what you're gonna ask for?
I don't know. I haven't even got the title or anything yet. So like I said, it's all still a little bit early.
Offer fast, guys.
Yeah.
Skeeter for sale.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta ask a question. So before Grady and I fished, I said, now Grady's 16, and I said, do you want to fish on your own, or do you want to fish mano, or do you want to split what we win? And we decided to split what we win. So did y'all have a similar conversation?
Yes. I mean, fishing these terms, you know, because like I said, it's my boat. We run over there to go weigh in my fish, taking away time from them. You kind of got to have a little bit of something to make it worthwhile for everybody.
Yep. But it's also fun that they're excited that
yeah,
they
everyone.
did.
I mean, you know, one person catches it, everyone catches it.
Right.
You know, like so we had talked about it. You know, on the way there, I'm like, you know, like, hey, so what are we gonna do? Nothing, crickets. I'm like, we have to figure this out before we
Before
get
you catch a 15-pounder, right?
I mean, I didn't know at the time, but fishing these big terms, you gotta. I mean, if it happens, it's, you know, hey, you never said that, man.
Yeah.
I'm keeping all this, but so we like, well, what if you split the money after taxes, and then whoever wins a boat wins the boat? Or Tyler's like, whoever wins a boat wins the boat. I'm like, sounds good to me, whatever. 'Cause, I mean, the way it was going, Tyler was whacking them.
away, yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
and then my other buddy's a good fisherman too. So I'm like, I mean, at the time, I'm like, yeah, that's an awesome deal. You know, what? Nothing else. I mean, I thought we were just going to be hopefully cashing checks for some unders.
So they both made $5,000 as well. That's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
cool. That's neat.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
it was
So
a good day.
what happened with ShareLunker? So I've never experienced them rolling up and doing their deal. So
Yeah, it was really impressive because, you know, I called them. They're like, yeah, we're going to fill the tank up. We'll be out there. You know, they're in Athens, so it's not too far. But, like, yeah, we'll be out there in about 2 hours or so. So when they pull up, like, you know, Bass Champs, they put that fish in a tank by itself. Not by itself, but separate from all the other fish that were being weighed in. And, you know, when they get out there, they make sure, like, the pH balance, like, I don't know, all this stuff. You know, they're doing water samples. The temp's all the same and stuff before they transfer it to
they don't
their...
want stressors, right?
Yeah, not at all. So just talking about it, you know, the guys, what you want to do with it and stuff. Like, I opted for...
So what were your options?
You can donate it to them, and it's theirs. So, like, if, you know, they don't need it, it'll come back to the lake. If they need it, want to keep it more seasons, they can keep it. Or it's yours, still my possession. So, like, whenever it's spawned there, I can pick it up at, I'm not sure any time, but I can come pick it up. It's still my fish. If I wanted to, I could fillet it. It would be like filleting a bald eagle. Would never do that. And that's actually a quote from a guy that works here.
Don't rip on us for that. That's funny though. Tastes like spotted owl, right?
Yeah. So I opted to. I wanted to go back to Fork. He said, like, you know, I grew up fishing Fork, and I want that actual fish to go back to Fork.
So they're going to spawn it, and then
They're
they're
going to
going to
spawn
bring
it,
it back to
but Lake Fork will get a lot of those fingerlings. I'm sure they get dispersed to other lakes, and so maybe drop a couple netfuls in the lawn too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, then it was real cool. The guy's like, yeah, you know, you get a replica, like a jacket, and he's like, yeah, we'll give you a replica at the Bassmaster Classic in June. So I'm like, oh, I mean,
Nice,
sweet.
yeah.
I mean, how much better can you get, man?
Yeah.
Like, really. So just all of it, man. Just insane day. I think insane. I've said insane. That's like my new word.
I mean, yeah, it's because it's so surreal to anything you would have
It is.
expected to have happen.
Yeah, and like even right now, just talking about it, like I'm back up there.
Yeah,
It
I've always said, you know, and I caught a 10.5 at Rayburn 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately I don't have it on camera, but I squealed like a little girl.
Yeah.
I really, you know, yeah! And I said in a video, I said, you know, if you don't still get excited about it, you need to go ride bulls or do something else that gets excited. So, have they given you any sense, or do they have a sense of how old that fish is?
They have not. I'm sure that.
It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, I'm sure they're
gonna
know. They're gonna know all that. They're gonna do genetic testing and stuff. I don't know how long it takes. Like I said, they told me to call them anytime. You know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'd probably go out there and look at it if I
You're
wanted
part of the
to.
club, man. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just everything's been so busy.
Have you done the tour to Athens?
I have not.
Guys, if you haven't done that, it's really
That's why I told him, I was like, dude, I'm probably going to come out there.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll ride down there with you.
yeah, I want to
That'd
go
be
check
fun.
it out. Like I said, it's all new to me, but and it's a lot of information. You know, they're telling me, even the bass, like, you need to sign this, we'll call you Vince for the boat. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. Like, I can't keep,
Yeah.
my mental capacity was shot.
Yeah.
I like, hi, like, that's all. That's all I knew. But, yeah, I'm sure I looked stupid. You know, when they did the interviews too, I was like, I don't know.
My bobber went under and I pulled back. Right?
Like, what do you even do?
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That
Well,
is
I
great.
appreciate it.
That is really cool. I don't imagine you're going to have to ever buy a J-Bug again. I get a feeling you're going to have every J-Bug from V&M baits you could ever possibly fish with.
I hope. It's a good bait.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see you at Ray Roberts in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
All right, you going to practice this weekend?
One day. Let's set one day aside.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to practice on Easter. That's a hard sell.
Yeah, my mom had asked, like, what are y'all doing? I was like, if we're gonna do something, it might need to be dinner time.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't. My wife, I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully one day I get out there.
All right.
And if not, you know, Tyler will probably go. And if not, we might just wing it.
All right, well, we're going to win Ray Roberts, and we'll let you interview me.
Hey, I'll take second on that. I'm good with that.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that. I thought it'd be fun to talk to somebody who, I mean, literally, and by the way, we were in Wolf Creek when it came over the radio, and it was, you hear this? What? You know, guys like, what? No, that can't be right. And it just, you could hear it go from boat, because somebody had a radio, from boat to boat to boat to boat. They're like, that can't be right. Yeah, they, you know, you sure it's not a catfish? They're like,
Yeah.
no, this guy just caught 15 pounder. So we had no idea. We knew who you were, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
All right.
Still is cool. Yes, sir.
We'll see you at Ray Roberts.
Will do.
Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
Good stuff. Okay, so Spark drawing for this week. We've already had, I think, 6 or 8 guys sign up for Spark fishing membership this week, so they're now eligible for this drawing. They're eligible for all the big bass stuff going on, which is the $250, $500, or $1,000 plus the $2,000 big bass tournament for the year on 9 lakes scattered across Texas. All that information is on sparkfishing.com. So let's pull our winning for this week. Let's see who's going to win it. Who's going to win it? We're going to pull that one right there. And that's going to be Weston Brown out of Houston, Texas. Weston Brown, congratulations. You are our Spark winner for this week. And don't throw away an envelope for Spark Fishing, or excuse me, from Spark Energy, because it's going to have a $250 gift card in it. So thanks for playing. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. Easy, easy money. Okay, guys. More great stuff coming for you next week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all actually every Tuesday and Thursday. We post twice a week. So if you don't subscribe, please do. Thanks, guys.